Alright, good morning, guys. I just was up playing this game, Cyberpunk, and there's just too much for my brain to handle. I had to pause it and do this. I know this is a pretty janky way of doing this video, but I want to read to you something in the manual of the Cyberpunk game. So check it out. This is the past. So this is the birth of the city that you play in. It all began with one man's vision, Richard Knight's dream of a city of a free poverty, crime, and stifling regulations imposed by centralized governments. In addition, its city council would boast members of the largest corporations. Why? Well, if they could run companies generating billions of euro dollars, surely a city would be a no-brainer. Sunny Cali, megacorps, big tech, what could possibly go wrong? So that's the beginning to the story. Now, the point of this video is to show that they put things in our media and put them out at certain dates. And that's why the video game industry has to release these games at certain times. That's why movie companies have to release these movies at certain times. That's why TV shows have to come out. And if they come out bad, oh well. They don't care about how you feel. They need the message to get out there. Okay? And what is the message of this game so far? Well, let's find out. A history of violence, 1990 to 2020. Now think of what's going on in our world right now. Between 1990 and 2020, the USA and the rest of the world are ravaged by 2 Central American wars, 3 corporate wars, and yes, an orbital war. No corner of Earth is left untouched. With each conflict more violent than the last, the demand for cyberware skyrockets. If that wasn't enough, Mother Nature wages its own war. I've been saying this for years. Humanity's brazen exploitation of the planet's resources lead to irreversible climate disaster. Now that's just propaganda. In return, it gets acid rain, sandstorms, desertification, and plethora of drug-resistant pathogens. Some natural, some bioengineered in corporate labs. The American we know cease to exist. Democracy crumbles one after another. American states succeed and declare themselves free nations. So this could be a foreshadow right there. An unpredictable financial crisis cripples the globe financial markets. A thermonuclear war in the Middle East sends radioactive ash in the atmosphere, blanking the entire globe in a toxic cloud of dust. Now that right there is kind of what startled me and wanted me to start making this, because I'm going to show you a video that I made of the game here in a little bit that shows you some stifling evidence of what is to come. Okay, and we're just getting warmed up. That's the last part. Okay, so now, you know, Klaus Schwab made a book called The Fourth Industrial Revolution, and it talks about what's going on today and what needs to happen. So if this doesn't ring a bell, it might. The Fourth Corporate War, 2020 to 2023, so that's now. August 20, 2023, a date drilled into the skull of every school kid. So this is what scared me. A nuclear device explodes in heart of Night City, obliterating the Etruscan towers, the 2 towers. There's your... Wow! The Etruscan Corporation, North American HQ, it's the final straw. In the Fourth Corporation War between Etruscan and Militech, thousands caught the blast radius die instantly. So this is New York, basically. And it's going to have a nuclear thing. So that's in August 2023. This is why they have to put these things out. I'm not predicting nothing, but wouldn't it be funny if it came true? Tens of thousands more in the date of following. Now this game sold 13 million too, guys. It sold 13 million. And and it had a very big controversy. Like it had a bad technical launch. I haven't had any problems yet. There's a couple little glitches, but it's nothing big. Actually, I had a crash. It's not that bad, but they fixed a lot of stuff. You know, they have to get this one good because this is Cyberpunk 2027. Remember, I think, and Bro Sanchez and a bunch of other people think that the whole goal of this is to capture your mind and put it into cyberspace. Now they're telling you now that the best way to go to the moon and to space is to download your consciousness. That was one of the videos I showed that got taken down. So it was that Dr. Nakayami guy talking about sending your brain to your consciousness to space. That's your soul. So keep that in mind, that this game is all about that. It's preparing your children for that. It is literally a step-by-step tutorial so far in what I've played on how to jack into things, download. You get viruses from doing this, and you get sick and they go to the doctor to wipe them. It is astronomically crazy on what's going on. Let me finish because I don't want to make this too long. Okay, so the fourth corporate war. Okay, so there's the thing that blows up in New York. The official death toll from the radiation exposure is unknown. Around the same time, the legendary netrunner Rachi Bartimos is killed, leaving a nasty surprise in his last will and testament. His death triggers and release of 1,000 of viruses and malware into cyberspace. Now remember, what is Klaus Schwab saying now? Klaus Schwab is saying that the next pandemic, and worse than COVID, of course it'll be worse than COVID, will be the cyber attack. You know, Dark Winter could be actual dark, you know, Blackout. Okay, so around the same time legendary netrunner, he dies, the NetWatch and security release of thousands of viruses and malware into cyberspace. NetWatch, the net security agency, is uncommon to contain the damage. The global stock exchange plummets, international trade grinds to a halt. The world web becomes a treacherous no man's land. Now, we've been saying at like 2025, it's going to literally, the internet will not be your friend. It will be just to track you. That's it. So the aftermath, 2024 and 2035. The world pulls itself up by the bootstraps. Elizabeth Crease, President of the United States, the female president, declares nationwide martial law. Okay, and nationalized Militech, allowing her to maintain some semblance of order. Meanwhile, Japan and Europe are too preoccupied with their own problems to pay attention to what's happening in the land of the free. NetWatch constructs the black wall of fire. Here's your wall, building of a wall. A firewall separating the open net from the rogue AI, and prophylactic to cyberspace in the wake of Bartimos attack. In exchange for security, the public abandons vast swaths of knowledge and information to the anarchy of code beyond the wall. So they're giving up their knowledge for safety. Does that sound familiar? Corporations begin to aggressively privatize previously owned farmland. What's going on now? Defranchised and now nowhere to go, people begin to band together in small groups and clans. Mobile and in need of work, these clans eventually specialize in transport. Soon they take over the trade routes between states. Decades of upheaval and displacement indirectly given rise to a new social class, the nomads. That's what we started as, nomads. Next chapter, Reconstruction of Unification, 2035, 2070. American cities begin to rebuild. NightCorp offers free full-body cyberware. Conversations to people will work in radioactive zones to meet the needs of newly booming populations. A dozen... Hold on a second, I lost my spot. Work, demobilize, mega buildings spring up. Okay. Radiations, free body cyberware conversations to the people willing to work in radioactive zones. See, there's going to be these essential workers. American cities begin to rebuild. Night Corp offers free full body cyberware conversations to people willing to work in the radioactive zones. To meet the needs of a newly booming population, dozens of mega buildings spring up from the rubble and debris. Under Nanowatch's draconian oversight, cyberspace becomes ever harder for netrunners to move unrestricted with ever more complex structures hidden from public view. The World Wide Web becomes a thing of the past. Determined to once again reunite the free states under one flag, the newly elected Rosalind Myers ignites one last war with the help of Militech, the so-called Unification War. Only Texas and Northern California, led by Night City, hold out. City Councilor Lucius Rhine strikes a deal with Arkansas. Soon enough, the graduation aircraft carrier enters Colorado Bay. The Myers-led NASA, N-U-S-A, that's NASA, new United States of America decides to back down. Recent years 2070, 2077. Now the game is called Cyberpunk 2077. So this is the end. The warring states, with the exception of Texas, sign a unification treaty ending the war. Night City becomes a free city, independent of NASA. Lucius Rhine, Night City's new mayor, grants a seat on the council to Arkansas for the first time since 2023. The Japanese now I'm butchering all these names. Arkansas. Every time I said Arkansas is Arsaka. I should know that because I've heard that in the game. The Japanese Zaibatsu is greeted in Night City with open arms. It quickly begins rebuilding its headquarters in Corporate Plaza on the very site where Arsaka Towers once proudly stood. Now, Arsaka Towers were the Twin Towers. They are two in here. Once again, Night City bathes in free flow of capital, the rich in their jacuzzis, the poor in their cramped, filthy showers. So, present day. I'm just going to read a little bit of this and I'm going to show you the video. Night City was made up of 6 large districts and a smaller sub-district. Every district has its own style, unique history, and sites worth exploring. Okay, so let's go to this now. Alright, so check this out. This is a part in the game that I'm at where there's these things called BD. I think it's brain download or something. And what people do is they create a scenario and they videotape it in someone's mind from their point of view. And then they sell it to someone so they can experience that vicariously. Now, that's deep as hell. Now, the new thing is they'll send someone off to go do like a robbery so someone can experience a robbery. And in this situation, his homeboy sent his buddy, the other gang member, in to rob the store. And as the guy was coming out to rob the store, he shoots the guy in the head. He shoots his own guy in the head that was robbing the store. And he doesn't care about the money or nothing because the experience of the snuff film was good enough for him. So fast forward to this, we get the information that we want, and I'm in this guy's building, okay? I'm in his building, and I'm looking around. Now notice the temperature this thing has to be at. Hold on.
You'll like this.
There. Now I'm scanning.
Loaded.
Safety's on. Good to know, though. Once you're in there, don't forget about that iron.
She's telling me, helping me out while I'm going through this memory. Oh no. I was trying to pause the game. Okay, here we go. Now. So I paused it and I'm searching for something. Here we go. So listen to this.
Manual details a special tip control container. Relic needs to be kept real cool.
So Chip's gotta stay in the freezer.
Chip's gotta
Yep,
stay in the
good
freezer.
damage.
Did you hear that? Chip's gotta stay in the freezer. So now I have to search for a place that's cold with my thermal goggles. Now, what are they saying about the second jab? What are they saying about it? They're saying that it has to stay in the freezer, right? It's a tracking virus that they're putting in this thing. That's the end of the video, guys. I just wanted to show you. I know there's tons of people out there that see this stuff and they just don't know what to do. But if you dig through the truther stuff, man, there is nobody doing video games. There's nobody doing video games, and the video games is where the kids are. They're trying to get the kids. Once they get you trapped in your house all the time and used to being in your house, not making money, but still receiving money, nobody's going to be wanting to go back to that regular working for money, right? Okay, but you're going to have to take their vaccines. You're going to have to be cramped in this little spot. No more fish keeping, no more none of that. Animals are unsafe. You know, you guys need to start reading the World Economic Forum and what they're saying, because they're the people that are making you wear the masks. God bless you guys and stay safe. Peace.